Hello. I want to make another video at this moment, even though it is just my lunch break. I like to do this because I need to, and I strongly feel that everybody needs this. Everybody needs the embodied language that I am talking about. Come with me into this wonderful park. Come with me into this wonderful environment of embodied language and enjoy for a brief moment the nature of, of this tree. Yeah. Now, the fact that I say this, that I can say this, that I want to say this, and that I know this, and that I am this, and will always be this because I have always been this. Yeah, it's kind of weird how that is. Because with disembodied language, we have wrong ideas about who we are. But with embodied language, finally, our language matches with who we are. And I strongly believe that this is more needed than ever. Actually, it is, in my opinion, the quintessential issue of our time. Yeah, either we are going to have this proper use of language in which we use our language for who we are as individuals, and so then we will not do anything that harms us. And if we do not do anything that harms us, we will also not do anything that harms other people. Yeah? Because these two, they go together. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was like the best day of their life.
It's funny how these two ladies are just walking by. And here I'm going to my favorite spot next to the creek. I'm gonna sit here for a while. Oh. And when I say language that fits with who we are, I also mean language which allows us to be relaxed, language which allows us to be quiet, language which allows us to settle down, to be at ease, to just enjoy who we are. We haven't had that language. We have never had a clear understanding that there is this language, and that with that language we can always be ourselves. And I can say this, and you can hear me say this, and you can feel what this is, and you can be inspired to do this yourself, and to let yourself know that you can be talking with yourself like this, and letting yourself know that this talking with yourself is more important than the way in which you talk with other people. How you usually talk with other people is not like this at all. You could be talking like this with other people, but it doesn't happen. Other people don't know this, you don't know this. That's why it is not happening. How you usually talk is what I call disembodied language. And this disembodied language, which you have been involved with for so long, you're so used to it, you're so identified with it, but it is not allowing you to be like this. It has to stop. And only you can stop it. I'm telling you this because I know this. And I'm telling you this because I have stopped my disembodied language. I wouldn't be having embodied language if I didn't stop my disembodied language. What you hear right now is my embodied language. And if you tune in to what I'm saying, if you really listen to what I'm saying, if you're open to what I'm saying, if you experience what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying, you know that this is equally true for you. You can have this too. This is not just my theory, my, I don't know, what is it, my project. Everybody can have this. And unless we have this, there's no peace in our life. Unless we have this, we are not in touch with ourselves. Unless we have this, we do not understand who we are. It is of utmost importance that you begin to withdraw from your disembodied language with others, and withdraw from your own disembodied language even while you're on your own. Yeah, your expression of your stress, your expression of your fear, your expression of your anxiety, your expression of your problem and your trouble and your anger and your frustration, your dissatisfaction, your jealousy. All of that is disembodied language. Embodied language is positive. Embodied language is soothing. Embodied language is nourishing, is calming you down, making you come to your senses. It is your conscious use of your language. That is embodied language. And you use your language consciously because you hear yourself. You are your own listener. You don't talk with anybody else but yourself. And yes, You can talk like this all alone by yourself, and you can also talk like this with somebody else. It is possible.
Come on. Let's go.
A man with a dog came by. He didn't say hello to me. But he must have seen me sitting here with my phone in front of me. It is, you know, we see a lot of people with phones in front of them these days, and here I am sitting with my phone in front of me just like everybody else. But I am doing something quite different than most people do. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm convinced that embodied language is going to be the solution to so many of our problems which are caused by, maintained by our disembodied language. How could it be otherwise? It is astonishing to me that there are no people of any repute. There are no people I have taught at Butte College. I've studied psychology. I've studied at Chico State University, at Palo Alto University, and I've talked about this stuff in the past. But there is nobody there, nobody who wants to know about this, who is coming to me and who is telling me, Maximus, this embodied language that you're talking about, that you have been talking about, this embodied language that you have given seminars about, that you have given a lecture about, this embodied language that you've been talking about to your students, and your students are just all delighted about it, and yet none of these students, none of these teachers, none of the faculty, nobody ever comes to me and says, hey, Maximus, this embodied language, that's really cool. We gotta do this. We gotta get this new way of dealing with language going. You have my full support. Nobody. Yeah, I have my dear wife who supports me and who knows that I'm doing this, and she realizes that yes, this is a real thing. And then I have my dear friend Annemiek in the Netherlands, with whom I have weekly conversations on Skype about this. And that's it. Where is everybody? What are you doing? What are you doing that you are not coming to me and have this conversation? What is preventing you from connecting with me? What are you fearing that I will do, or that you may, I don't know, experience, that you're so afraid of? Because there's nothing to be afraid of. I don't want your money. I don't need your attention. I don't need you to follow me. I don't need you to become part of a group. I don't need you to read my work. I don't care whether you do this or not. Of course I care. I mean, I would like you to. I would love you to do this. But I don't feel responsible for you to do this, because you need to do this yourself. How can I feel responsible for this? If I would feel responsible for this, which I was in the past, in the past I felt like, oh, I need to teach people this. I need to explain it to them. I need to get them to understand this. I need to change the world. No, I'm not needing to do that at all. What I need to do is I just need to have this conversation here at this moment by myself. That's all it is for me. And what you do with it is up to you. It's not my responsibility. And I feel incredibly good that I've come to this point where I have stopped trying to, I don't know, get to you, trying to run after you, trying to get you to join my seminar, trying to get you to read my work. It is not happening. And I'm not any better for it. I'm not happy with it. I was just creating my own dissatisfaction when I was doing that. Now I feel incredibly satisfied. Now I feel incredibly certain. Now I feel totally with my embodied language. I know this to be so, and I speak on my own authority. And you could do the same, but it's up to you. And yeah, I hear the news. I know what kind of a world we're living in. I know what's happening. We are not having this. We are completely ignorant about this. Not me, you. And this is not some judgment, this is just a statement of fact. If you would talk with me and you would contact me on Skype, or you'd email me, or you just get in touch with me, we would have this conversation. The conversation in which you listen to yourself. The conversation in which you speak with yourself in the same way as you speak with someone else. I speak at this moment with you, but I speak with myself. And I can speak like this with you, you can speak like this with me. The fact that you haven't done it doesn't mean that it isn't possible. Of course it is possible. It is possible, it is necessary, it is important, it is meaningful. It will change everything. Why? Well, your ongoing embodied language, what do you imagine that could be like if you continue to feel good about your language? Just tell me. Tell yourself. What would it be like if you could always feel satisfied about your language? If you would always feel nourished by your language? If your language would always be clear to you? What would that mean? It could only mean one thing. It would mean that you are totally yourself. It would mean that you express your language enlightenment. You express your enlightenment with your language, with your embodied language. How could it be anything else? And it is because of your language that you get to do this. It is because of your attention for your language that you come to know about this. That you embody this. It's beautiful. It is so magnificent. And it is so needed. All the craziness that's going on, all the frustration, all the confusion, all the despair, all the brutality, all the destruction. This is peace. This is wholeness. And this is not anything having to do with any of your so-called spirituality. This is totally real. Your spirituality is just a fantasy, an escape from the reality. This is not an escape from the reality. You either sound like this or you don't. You either embody your language or you don't. And as of yet, you don't. And you have to acknowledge that. You have to admit that to yourself. Only then your disembodied language will subside. Yeah? If you can say to yourself, yes, I have disembodied language. Yes, I am just talking like a chicken without a head. I'm just going around in circles. I'm just always frustrated. I'm always combobulated. I'm always fragmented. I'm going all over the place. That's your reality. And that's how you sound. You sound horrible. Yeah. Obviously, when you always experience negative feelings, negative experiences, how are you supposed to sound positive? You're trying to sound positive. It doesn't sound positive at all. Actually, you're trying to sound positive sounds horrible. Because it isn't real. It's not how you really feel. It's not how you really experience your life. So only when you can begin to admit to yourself that you sound horrible, that you don't want to hear yourself. Of course you don't listen to yourself because you don't want to hear yourself. Okay. Now you're going to continue to talk with yourself until you begin to really hear yourself, until you begin to want to hear yourself. So all this negativity, yeah, okay, you express it and you don't want to hear it and you don't like it. You don't like it that you're upset. You don't like it that you feel abused. You don't like it that you're humiliated, that you're disrespected, that you are taken advantage of, that you are oppressed. You don't like any of it. You feel frustrated that you haven't achieved any of your goals and that you have no positive outlook. Everything is negative. Sounds horrible. Now, will you continue to talk with yourself even after you've said all that? Where is your peace? Where is your... when do you ever turn again to your well-being? Only when you have acknowledged that all this negative stuff prevents you from going there. Your sadness. Yeah. There's such sadness in everybody. Sadness, loss. You lost something, you're sad that something didn't work out, that you didn't get what you wanted. You can't let it go. You feel you've missed. It prevents you from having embodied language. And only when you acknowledge that will your disembodied language stop. Yes, maybe you cry, and yes, maybe you scream and you shout and you stamp your feet a couple of times. Maybe you slam your fist on the table or punch a hole in the wall or whatever, people do stuff like that. But you might as well just beat a pillow if you feel so inclined that you have to beat something. Better do that than beat somebody else up. But no, you don't need to do any of that. You can just hear in the sound of your voice that you are again expressing your own dreadfulness, your own misery, your own negativity. And when you acknowledge that, not change that, but acknowledge that. When you acknowledge for yourself and say to yourself, yeah, I cannot be happy because I'm unhappy. I cannot be relaxed because I'm tense. I cannot sound good because I feel bad. When you acknowledge that, the negativity begins to transform. Your experience begins to change. You will start to feel a sense of relaxation. And you begin to hear yourself. You begin to hear a new sound. A new experience is revealing itself. A new possibility is opening for you, because you have now finally stopped your disembodied language, and in doing so, you have made your embodied language possible. This is what every human being has to do. And if we do not do this, each of us on our own terms, it's not going to happen. Nobody is able to do this for somebody else. This is the future of mankind. The future which is, of course, the future of the individual, not the group that we have endlessly conformed to and prevented ourselves from being ourselves. Because who we are as an individual has nothing to do with the group that we believed to belong to. And once we are again true to ourselves with our language, everything will start to fall into place. You can hear it, you can feel it, you say it, and you will always be it because you were always it. It's going to happen if you let it happen. If you make it happen. It's up to you. It's happening for me. And if you listen to me carefully, it's happening to you.